What is sama' or qawwali? I'm not even prepared for this question. What is sama' or qawwali, and can it be impermissible? Sama' or qawwali is something people it's music in general is something that is differed upon amongst the scholars, and the majority of scholars lean towards impermissibility. And so there's some types of music that is clearly impermissible, something, with like some rap music where there's, just talking about vice and zina and, intoxication and these sorts of things, where it's not just the instruments, it's also the words that make it impermissible. So that's out. As for something like Qawwali, is something which many of the spiritual masters in the Indian subcontinent used. So there'd be some degree of some instrumentation is used, and then the words that they would use would be words that are meant to stir the heart into longing for Allah, wanting Allah, to be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is something that is there's a difference of opinion. There are certain instruments that are impermissible. We have a detailed answer on those instruments. If you seek it on the if you look for it on the Seekers Guidance Answers archive, you'll find that. And but the actual thing in and of itself, there is a difference of opinion. The safer position is to avoid it, right? The safer position. And it's possible for someone who's very much into music to leave it, to change their musical palette to listening to inshad and, other forms of poetry and singing and nuts, things that can attach the heart to Allah and His Messenger. So Qawwali, is it permissible or impermissible? There's a difference of opinion on this. And you know maybe you can discuss it in detail in the future, inshallah ta'ala. As for background music, there's another issue on background music. Background music is a more complex issue. Background music is not always impermissible, because background music entails that you're you're not listening to it for it in and of itself. So for example, imagine someone went out to look at something haram. His intention is, I'm going to go out, I'm going to go to a place where something haram is on display, he's going to look at it. This is a sin, right? But if someone leaves home and he's walking through the supermarket, he has to walk, and there's the clothing section, and he sees an image. He's not there to go look at that image. He's there to buy a pair of socks, and whilst going there, he sees an image. Then he's not sinful for that. Although, you do your best to avoid looking at it. The same thing with background music. If you walk into a supermarket, they're playing something. You're there to buy your eggs and milk and bread and cheese and whatever. You're not there to listen to it. So background music in that situation is it's not a sin for it to be there and for you to be present. If you're actively going to go in the car, what was that song, and you start listening to it, then you're on dangerous ground. So if you click onto a video on YouTube and there is some form of music in the background, if you're there, let's say it's an educational video, for example, or the news or whatever, if you're there and there's something in the background, it wouldn't be considered impermissible, like someone playing another pop song or something for enjoyment. Okay. But especially if it's lewd, you hate it in your heart. It's not something that you want to get your heart accustomed to.
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله